stumble onto it and watch the show this evening.
It's happened. In fact, we believe people have watched the show on the YouTube, laughed, and even donated to our favorite charity. So who knew, Mike? We could get laughs on the internet, and also I've never done good things, and sometimes we're able to do that with our.
No, don't beat yourself up about that, Chuck. Some of us just aren't constitutionally capable of being good people.
Right.
It's just a genetic thing. Don't blame yourself.
I just don't have feelings, everybody. I don't have feelings or emotions.
Please, a lot of people don't know that Zoe Deschanel used to be one of the Pips. This is her doing the.
Very fun, very fun.
Yeah,
She's celebrating the fact that we don't charge fees with our tickets. So if you purchase an Eventbrite ticket, that's Gladys, our cashier. She's just a peach. She won't wear a mask. As much as we ask, she won't do it. We know how she votes. And it's an inclusive place. You get to be you,
true.
especially.
She says, look, honey, I've been smoking Pall Mall Reds since I was 14.
Right.
A mask at this point is just there's no reason for it.
In fact, Gladys puts the all in Pall Mall.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
she's got you checked in here. I see where a lot of our customers are getting checked in.
You just look up here. Gladys spits blood from her lungs in the cup while she's bringing up everybody's.
A few of our VIPs have checked in. So I know Izzy has already checked in. And then I think Michelle just checked in from our VIP squad. And that's always super important to Gladys. She likes to thank our VIP customers. So thank you. We have.
I would like to know if this is favela or favela. But I don't know, and I
answer. Just if you'd like, Izzy, you're welcome to turn on your microphone and chat. Folks who are new, you can turn on your microphone and laugh at the show. Turn on your camera and enjoy the show, or keep those off if that helps you enjoy the show even more.
Michelle,
we really appreciate you and thank you for purchasing a VIP ticket to the ApocaLips Comedy Show.
I love your raw ingredients for many of our best medals. Thank you for that.
It comes with some free gifts that come out later in the show. General admission folks, you get less free gifts and also less very important. So if Gladys seemed a little curt when she pointed out that general admission seating is upstairs in the balcony for general admission seats, I apologize. Gladys is a little.
We've talked to her about that repeatedly, but she has pictures of me with a couple of quadrupeds, so she's basically unfireable.
Right. It's either that or.
It doesn't work though. You know, a lot of people that kind of clout in an organization just not even show up.
Either that or we do this show on Pornhub. So, Mike, we do
not against
things with this show, and later on we're going to learn about Elevating Connections, our favorite charity. But just before we start the show and do the big sing along and everything, we should say hey to Stacy. She's wearing a bell chapeau. I believe.
Jesus Christ.
Love the nails and everything. Stacy Sanders, Executive Director of Elevating Connections, an outstanding charity that supports youth who are separated from their siblings by the foster care system, as well as Stacy does other great things as well. Stacy, take it away. Can you tell the folks about your wicked awesome charity and the good work that you do?
Absolutely. Thank you, Chuck. I got fancy because it's the holiday season. So that's the hat. And I didn't want to do my hair. So there's that.
Right.
There's two purposes. It's Sunday. Anyway, I appreciate the opportunity to say just a few words about Elevating Connections. And I'm so thrilled to be here every single week because Colorado Comedy Shows is such a huge supporter. And I'll talk more about that actually in a little bit. But we do read siblings separated in foster care, which is a huge issue. And it's very difficult for kids to be separated. And then we also work with older youth who've emancipated out of foster care without finding a permanent home to help them find their voice through song, spoken word, now comedy and art. And we do that all as volunteers, including yours truly. So I'll talk more about that too. So thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Stacy. I appreciate that.
So
I
chat
really-
about it.
Well, go ahead, Chuck. I'm
I
sorry.
was just saying, Mike, we chat about it often, even during our private events. We book private shows and we donate 10% to Elevating Connections. And we even take time to just tell folks about.
Yeah, I talk about it in my sleep. Something I didn't know. My wife told me that I talk about it in my sleep. I'm just kidding. My wife and I don't sleep together anymore.
Right. That's we'll get into the showroom now, get you down to VIPs. You're down front. Remember to please use social distancing.
And of course, is Michael Flynn sitting with all his friends.
Here's our balcony seating. Mike's friends from Michigan are here, no masks, and they sit real close. Everybody, please
They
be
sit
careful.
close to each other, and they are strapped. So don't piss them off.
Right.
As I always say, an armed balcony is a polite balcony.
Right. Mike's crowd is packing in a totally different way than my crowd. So what we've assembled for you today, ladies and gentlemen, is a little bit of a fun holiday comedy show. Before we kick off our sing-along, we better get our guests in. We start the show with a theme song sing-along, and then we've been playing the last week's audience sing-along to this week's audience sing-along and recording the new one, and then the next week playing the new. So what I'm trying to say is today we're singing along to what other people sang along when they were singing along to a sang-along from a sing-along. I think that's how it works. So, for
one reason and one reason only, and that's to throw as many sibilant S's into his introduction as he possibly.
Agreed. And folks playing along on the YouTube, please Google sibilant S's so I can figure out what he's talking about. Either way, the words will appear on screen. You feel free to sing along if you should choose to. If being part of a sing-along makes you feel a little weird or silly, keep your microphone off, chill. Those of you watching on YouTube, sing loud and clear so we can hear you. And I believe
it's sing-along. Here we go, everybody.
Come on, everybody. It's time for a
Is it over?
We're gonna have a feature for everybody. It's a sing-along, a sang-along. That was
too much. It's too much. I know.
I think we've got to go back to in one, because I think we're doing 6 weeks on top of each other.
I'm not sure what we're going to do next week. We'll have it together.
Always with the team meeting.
Absolutely.
How come you always have the team meetings where nobody else can attend, huh?
Right. I put the I. Mike, I want to get the show started. We've got some great comedians to introduce everyone to. Ritu Tirthani is here.
Well, first I
Bronco,
apparently have an apology to make first, Chuck.
Sorry, Mike. Go ahead with your apology, buddy.
I don't know why this keeps happening. I guess in my dotage, I've lost some portion of my memory. I don't know what it is, but somehow or another, I always seem to walk out of the house still holding one of my many awards for writing for television.
Gosh, that's must be embarrassing.
Me, sometimes you can see a little Kennedy Center chain around my arm because I've gotten foundation awards a few times. There's a Phi Beta Kappa key in my vest, but I usually don't show that. Just how fast my computer ship works. It doesn't make me a better person. Being smarter and funnier than everybody else doesn't make me a better person. I understand. Right, it makes me a little bit better person, but not enough of a person so that I can lord it over people.
Right. It does mean you have a Golden Globe, Mike, and it seems to be something
Oh,
you like to carry everywhere.
Did you say that out loud? Oh my God.
Yeah. You know.
Now I'm gonna be overbearing.
Mike, don't let people judge you for carrying your Golden Globe around. People can have their opinions, okay? Opinions are like assholes, and everyone needs theirs.
Wow.
Right, Mike, we
I
got...
guess, hey, I've been called an opinion a million times in my life. I just realized that.
Right. Mike, we've got all kinds of...
Holy shit, and bunker down. Oh, wait, this is
the sing-along, Mike. It's our new sponsor.
Sorry, I thought we were back to the singing.
Previously, we were sponsored by Wear a Mask, Please. And then we were sponsored by Would You Please Wear a Mask During Thanksgiving? And now we're sponsored by Holy Shit, Bunker Down. So
Absolutely.
whatever you're doing out there, folks, just, you know, bunker down, try to wear a
As you can
mask.
see, my car's already got COVID. The front end of the car is swollen.
Right. So if you're new, Mike and I we take you on a little bit of a journey. We tell some jokes, and then we introduce you to a bunch of comedians. You know, it's kind of what we do. We start the journey here at the Colorado Comedy Show's Virtual Events Center, and this is our writing room. And we try to meet here, come up with fresh ideas. We observe the beautiful Rocky Mountains and take those in.
You know, Chuck.
Mike.
Excuse me for interrupting, Chuck.
Mike, please.
But it's a little difficult to admire the beautiful, pristine Rockies.
I think they look beautiful.
That thing in the middle of the front, in the middle window.
That thing is fragile, Mike.
Well, I don't care if it's, you know, Serbian, it's Italian, whatever it is. That is, well, what is that? Actually?
Mike, that happens to be my Kennedy Center Award for teaching. I seem to have left it on the coffee table once again, right in the view of the Rockies.
That's that thing that you keep carrying around under your arm all the time?
Yeah, Mike, you know, if you were an innovative teacher, you'd need to be able to prove it like I do on a daily basis. With a verification of my Kennedy Center Award. Mike, thought I'd take you through and show off the Colorado Comedy Show's Virtual Events Center. This is our...
How do you always take pictures in my ballroom?
It's the employee cafe and ballroom. Mike's rider is very specific. He's got to have his own ballroom.
And I have to have at least 25 8-tops in the ballroom because I try to make a couple of extra bucks doing a high tea on Sunday afternoons.
You wouldn't believe this, folks, but in my green room, only one top necessary. Mike, tough crowd for the gay jokes, apparently.
I think you blew it when you said you didn't know what a civil unrest was.
Third time you've used the word, Mike. I still have no clue. So here we are on the way over to the graphics department. This is the third floor.
Oh my God!
Parking
You really decked it out this year. I really need to get down there and say hello to those guys because they do a great job every week.
Right. This year they've set up one Christmas tree for each time you won't visit their office. When they've tally that up and do what you can to get to the Christmas tree. Over here is my side office. We've set up a Christmas tree and put out a wreath and such. It's a scented Christmas tree with the sound of a bird inside. I dig it this year.
Really? That's great. Any particular kind of bird, or is it like a duck, or?
It's just electronic, Mike. It's a little thing. It goes tweet, tweet, tweet. Not everything has to be a joke.
Notice that all of our writers are sitting around it. Who is this?
Got this, Mike. Seems this year everything has to include a salad.
Yeah, nothing says the birth of our Lord like a salad.
Right. Number one decoration this year are going to be salads.
Who is this? What is this guy's name again?
That's Chef Mark Scapone, our virtual chef.
Yes.
He's
the guy that's on the boat, right?
Yeah, chef from the boat, and really likes salads. Pushes them on me all the time. It's a little frustrating. You know, I'm a fat guy, Mike. So I think what his point is.
Not that we couldn't mix wine once in a while, but why do we have to be forced to do it? That's what I want.
Right. I've put on my COVID-19. The other 42 pounds, I won. Okay.
Bing, bang, boom.
Right, Mike. Jokes. We've got jokes. Mike, we've given everybody a little bit of a tour. I think we're starting to build the holiday mood for a month long of holiday themed shows. I think it's one of the best parts of our show is to share the gift of laughter. We have the comedian who we met on your Monday night show, Mike. Right?
Yes, a very funny, talented young woman. Who I'm very glad to see here on the show tonight.
We're meeting comedians from all over the world, including exotic places like Nashville.
As you can see, she's a doctor who uses the thinnest telescopes. That's a brand new thing. You know, I was going to say stethoscope, but I said telescope, completely blowing the joke.
Right.
It's my job to dig a hole for the first act. I wanted to start out below actual ground level. So welcome, Ritu.
Welcome, Ritu. Thanks for sharing your jokes with us. Ritu Tirthani, everybody.
Yeah.
Let's make America ordinary again. That's my personal campaign slogan. All right. Well, hello, American citizens. How are you guys doing?
Good. Yeah.
Good. I'm going to be a citizen soon. I'm on all the dating apps. I do comedy as a side hustle. Being a comedian has made me realize I want to give up on being a vegetarian. Two attention-seeking skills should not be in one person, right? Well, I've been doing a lot of Zoom shows. I've actually been I've been killing on Zoom shows. I just pretend everyone is on mute. All right. Well, the COVID isolated life has made me scared of death. I don't want to die. I'm worried if I die, who will take care of my Instagram account? All right, a little bit about me. I was divorced a few years ago. I think divorces are emotionally and financially hard, but I think it gets worse when you have a joint email account, you know, like Ron and Pemmy forever at gmail.com. I'm sorry, at AOL.com. I'm sorry. Whenever I do, after divorce, I had a lot of free time. So I joined a book club, but I don't know why I joined a book club. I don't even like wine. Whenever I do divorce jokes, my mom is like, Ritu, stop doing divorce jokes and like think of second marriage. I'm like, Mom, I'm not ready yet. I was like, Mom, I'm not ready yet. I still have some money left from my last husband. All right. Well, I'm back in the dating world. I'm actually very new to American dating. I think a lot about my sexual fantasies. I have this wildest sexual fantasy to make love to an American man with no student loan debt. That's going to be a fantasy for a while. All right, I'm going to try this new one. Dating life and dating in America is like eating rice with chopsticks. Very few people get it right. Okay, people. Oh my God. Okay, cool. That was a new one. That went well. Cool. All right, I went on a date last week and this guy was like, hey, I like you. Do you want to come over, watch Netflix and chill? I was like, I don't do Netflix and chill dates. I know what American men want. But if you have Amazon Prime, I'm up for casual sex. All right, enough of these are dating jokes, but in reality, I live in Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm dating a guy in Columbia, Tennessee. I never thought I'll have to cross 3 Cracker Barrels to find love. Talking about dating and sex, we don't have sex education back in India, but I still somehow know how to fake it. Well, English is my second language. I try to work on the language a lot. Tell me if the synonym I've gotten is right. Synonym of stalking your ex. My American friend told me it was looking for closure. Is that right? All right, we'll end those English lessons here. Well, I'm an immigrant, right? I have a hard time making American friends. I think we are different. Like I don't have any food allergies. Like I prefer water without ice. The word ice scares the shit out of me. Somebody said, hey, you moved from India to America. Well, what has been an upgrade? I was like, well, I've upgraded from casual clothes to casual relationships, if that counts. All right. I don't like the way Indians are greeted in America. Like if I see an American, I'll be like, hey, how are you doing? But if an American sees me, he's like, oh my God, I love Indian food. Don't do that to us. From next time, if I see an American, I'll be like, oh my God, US healthcare sucks. That was mean. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, people, I am doing this. I am upgrading my God level, switching from Indian God to Jesus. Indian gods are overweight. You guys have a good looking, hot Jesus God? And also because I love unlimited bread and wine. Well, just a suggestion, Indian bread is better. It goes better with wine, but whatever you got. All right, a comic said, hey, keep a balance between Indian and American jokes so they don't feel like they're the target. But hey, we all know, we all know who the target is, Mexicans, right? I can get away with that joke, people. That is called brown privilege. All right, don't hate me yet. I have more meaner jokes. Okay. I think you guys are loving the American jokes, so we'll keep those going. I think Americans are cool people, but you guys have some weird hobbies, like your obsession with recycling. America, recycling makes you look poor. Please stop doing that. And then blessing people when they sneeze. Why this discrimination? Why not bless people when they fart? Why not? And then paying for running and calling it marathon. You guys know you can run for free, right? Just make sure. All right. Oh, well, I have a question for Americans. What the heck did you do with this delicious Japanese dish? Why would you serve sushi and name the fucking restaurant Beyond Sushi? What? Okay, that was a new joke. That needs work, okay, people? All right. All right, I have a question for you guys. Is anyone looking to buy brown parents? I'm selling mine. My parents have a basic common love story. My mom loves my dad and my dad loves alcohol. I'll end on this one. My dad is a big believer in karma. He said I got divorced because I made fun of someone's divorce. Well, I learned my lesson. I make fun of rich people now. All right, thank you so much. That's all I have. Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're loving her. Good thing about Indian bread is you can slide it under any door.
Comes in handy. That's
even better than pizza that way.
Right.
And the difference between the Eastern religions and our religion is you have a fat god and thin monks. We have a thin god and fat preachers. So now you can always tell the difference. Just keeping that in mind. And you know, Chuck,
Mike,
we have another performer coming up.
we do, Mike. Always a treat. And it's time to cowboy up and laugh, ladies and gentlemen. Would you please welcome Bronco Brad?
Whoa, 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 whoa. Well, thank you very much. Howdy, boys and girls. Welcome again to another edition of the Bronco Brad Dang Tootin' Good Time Show. I'm sure glad to be here with all of you nice boys and girls, and so is my little coyote, Natty Pine. Say hello, Natty Pine. Okay. Well, let's head off down to the stable here and get our show started, shall we, boys and girls?
Hey!
Yeah.
Alrighty. Okay. Well, then grab up your wooden clackers and let's do our opening theme song. Oh, we're galloping along. We sing this cowboy song, snacking on gluten crackers, play our tune on wooden clackers, galloping along. Cow dust all up our nose. Let's jump off this path and in a bath, and let's wash our smelly clothes. Alrighty, yes indeed. Okay, thank you, Mr. Cameraman. Well, now, boys and girls, let's get started with the show, shall we? Yes. Well, first of all, we always got to start off with our science tip of the night. And of course, I can't do my science tip without my little buddy, Wally, the happy talking neutrino. Hi, Wally. Hi, Bronco Brad. Hi, everybody. Hi, Wally. Hey, so Wally, what's our science tip for tonight? Well, boys and girls, if you're traveling through the space in the speed of light, always look both ways before you cross a galaxy. Well, that's dang good advice, Wally. I sure do appreciate that. Okay, bye-bye. Yeah, that Wally, he sure is a smart boy, ain't he? Yes, indeed. Well, talking about outer space, I got a special song for you tonight. It's about a special friend of mine. You know, a lot of the Eastern European countries are sending satellites up in outer space. But there's one little special satellite from the land of Poland that's the sweetest of all. Let me tell you all about it. Well, there's a friend of ours flying high overhead. Tippy-yi-yi-yay, kielbasa. Tommy the satellite from the land of Poland. Tippy-yi-yi-yay, kapusta. Each night we rest under dark prairie skies. Sleep tight, you little doggies. Tommy is winking and blinking on high. Tippy-yi-yi-yay, pierogies. Oh, he flies through the sky every night. Tommy, the sweet Polish satellite, he tells us a message as bright as can be. Hello, little Kishkas, it's me. Oh, hey, how about that, boys and girls? Yeah. Well, I'm sure glad you enjoy that. Yes, indeed. Well, now, boys and girls, it's time for our math corner. Yes, indeed. So, Mr. Cameraman, move the camera around here. Here it is, our math corner. Yes, you know, a lot of you boys and girls always wonder what the square root of pi is, but it's so dang darn hard to memorize, ain't it? All of those numbers there. Well, I got a special memorization song for you. You can follow along and remember how to do that square root of pi. Listen up. Well, 1 is the loneliest number, sung by Three Dog Night, I think. And 7's for and 7 was special whiskey you can drink. And the other 7 stands for the seventh seal, directed by Igmar Bergman. And 2's the number of beers you can drink if you're in a polite social occasion. And 4's the number of fingers you'd have if one gets crushed by a horse. And 5's the number of the Liverpool lads called the Beatles, if you include Pete Best, of course. Hey, how's that? How's that, boys and girls? Yes, indeed. Now you can Memorize that square root of pi. Well, Mr. Cameraman, let's swing us around again. Thank you very much. I want to remind you boys and girls to make sure you write into the Bronco Brad Show and tell me if you can guess the sawdust. Yes, indeed. Here it is right here, boys and girls. If you think you can guess what kind of sawdust that is, be sure to write in. And if you're right, well, you win a special prize. Okay. Well, all righty. Now it's time for our sing-along. Yes, now, you know, I have a special little friend of mine. He's a special little friend. His name is David. And David lives in a pickle jar because he's a giant pickled egg. Oh, I love David. You can sing along and tell me how much you love him too. Grab up your wooden clackers and here we go. Well, I'm friends with mashed potatoes with lots of chicken gravy. But the bestest friend that I ever had was a pickled egg named Davy. Davy the pickled egg was a friend of mine. He liked to sit on top of the bar and swim in pickle brine. Davy gave me comic books and piles of wet dirt. He'd always kiss my boo-boos whenever I got hurt. Davy the pickled egg was a friend of mine. He liked to sit on top of the bar and swim in pickle brine. Davy taught me Swedish when I was 3 or 4. Whenever I was bad, he'd throw me out the door. Davy the pickled egg was a friend of mine. He liked to sit on top of the bar and swim in pickle brine. Alrighty. Okay. Well, thank you very much, boys and girls. I sure do appreciate that. Yes, indeed. Well, I got to wrap up real soon, but I want to remind you, boys and girls, about the time if you want to join in on the Bronco Brad Good Time Show and be a Bronco Brad deputy sheriff. I'll be glad to send you your own Bronco Brad sheriff badge and certificate. If you just go to the Bronco Brad Dang Tootin' Good Time Show and just send me a message with your name and address, I'll be sure to send you a special letter plus your badge and certificate. How about that? Hey, Wally, what do you think? Oh, that's great, Bronco. Are you a problem? No, I just had a frog in my throat. That's great, Bronco. Yeah. I'd like to be a deputy sheriff too. Oh, okay. Well, that's great. So that means, Bronco Brad, that we can play good cop, bad cop. Why, sure. Let's give it a try right now. Okay. Hey there, Mr. Bad Guy. I've got some soda pop and ice cream. If you can tell me all about that bank robbery. Okay, your turn. Hey, punk. I'm about a nanosecond away from dropping a boatload of gamma rays on your punk head. Hey, that's pretty good, Wally. Okay, bye-bye. Yeah, that Wally. He sure likes to play, don't he? Well, that's about it for tonight, boys and girls. I sure did have a good time playing with you. Remember, our sponsor for the show is always Ted's All Vegan Corn Dodgers. Yes, it did. You know, you're at the grocery store. You're looking for something tasty. My friend Ted carefully inspects and selects every single darn of those kernels of corn for this tasty, tasty vegan corn dodgers. They sure are good. Yes, indeed. Well, that's it for tonight, boys and girls. I sure did enjoy it. Remember next time to keep your powder dry and your feet drier still. Until next time, well, we've got longer nights. Sorry, I got a frog in my throat. We got longer nights and shorter days. The night sky is full of hidden gamma rays. We got veggies to grill and sausages to smoke. So good night, my little cowpoke. Good night, cowpokes.
Welcome, Brad, ladies and gentlemen.
Brad, who would you like to make him hold this final pose for a little bit? Does great at it. He does great at it. One more time for Bronco Brad, would you please, y'all? He's just great.
Bronco Brad.
Thank you very much.
Every time Bronco's on the show, I learn a little bit more about math.
Right, I'm gonna work hard to be a deputy for Bronco Brad. Mike will sail aboard the Amanita yacht and take the folks to the dark side of the moon. Why not? Why not?
Hey, we're mooning the audience.
Yeah.
We're mooning them. is what we're doing.
Thank you.
This is the moon.
On the starboard side, you have a great view of the back of the moon. If you're on the port side, enjoy the galaxy.
Yeah.
Mike, what I was hoping is we might convince you to, share with the audience some of those fine pieces of repertoire or some of the comedy that you do. Have you anything on your mind? Something?
Well, I've always got something on my mind, but see, it's with you. It's always dance ballerina. Hey, you're a comic, Mike. Comic, dance. Come on, joke monkey, climb. Look, woo, woo, woo. Everybody's like that about comics, You just say, I don't know. You're a comic. Have I seen you in anything? How am I supposed to know if I'm a comic? I'm not a psychic. I don't shop at Sprouts because I'm there. You know what I mean? They also say you're a comic? You're a comic? They always say that. You're a comic? Have you done anything? Well, since I'm a comedian, of course, I spend a lot of time making shoes. I'm like comics too. They make shoes late at night, and then later ask for help from the townspeople. I tell jokes. That's what I've done. Jokes. You don't think this isn't a complicated thing. If somebody tells you that they're a particle physicist, I think it's fair to say, what's that? If somebody says I'm a comedian, it's like, how fucking stupid do you have to be not to even know what I'm talking about? Anyway. Say something funny. All right. I like you. Look, I'm a little pissed off. I'm getting pandemic fever. I'll be honest with you. I don't like the fact that I have to go out, and now everybody's too polite in the store. It's like Alphonse and Gaston when you're at the supermarket. No, after you. No, after you. No, after you. No, after you. No. Don't give me that life-threatening disease. Just go. Wait. I swear to God, I don't need a watermelon bad enough for you to go. You want to go? Do you want to go? Do you want to get in line in front of me? No, I want to stay here on the little red dot where I'm safe from your radiation. That's all I want to do. You move, then I'll go up. I was in line today at Sprouts, and there was a guy who was, how hard is it? That's all I want to know. They have this stand here. It actually says stand here on the red circle. Stand here. I'm standing there on the red circle. There's a guy between me and the next red circle. It's like when you go to, because I'm an old guy, I've sort of lost that sense of what the appropriate distance is. I'm grateful for those things. Because when I used to go to Starbucks before the pandemic, I would be that guy who would be just standing way too close. When you're getting ready to check out at Sprouts or King Soopers or whatever, you just suddenly notice that there's this noise behind you, somebody breathing down your neck. Turn around and there's a guy like far away from you going, oh, I'm sorry, was I standing too close? No, somebody would fuck me in the ass before I checked out my and so thanks for showing up. The only thing I like about the pandemic is that I don't have to go to a place like Starbucks anymore to get, I now just brew up regular, regular coffee and charge myself $6 for it. It's amazing how much it tastes like the stuff that you get at Starbucks, by the way. But I just don't like going there because you have to deal with the baristas, and I don't get it. It must be some kind of corporate policy. Maybe it's not corporate. Maybe it's only Denver because I don't go anywhere because it's a fucking pandemic. Pardon me. I said fucking. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm an old man. Give me a break. I have to stand with people. Then when you finally get up there, you have to deal with a barista, because that is the corporate policy. Everybody is a barista. They're all, I don't know what they are, millennials, Gen Zers. I don't know what they are. I can't tell age anymore. You know, I was in a bar the other day and this hot woman was walking by. My libido is not dead. Just my not attractive anymore. I get that. I tried to pay the woman a compliment. I said, man, you know, I got to say, you were the hottest woman to walk in this bar tonight by a light year. And she goes, that's so cute, because I was just telling my friend how much you reminded me of my father. I was pissed off, I'll tell you. He said, why? Does he want to take you out back and fuck you up against a dumpster too? I said, wow, now you're really reminding me of my father. Good, but she had problems. I didn't want to get involved, you know? So you're at Starbucks and you have to deal with a barista that's a Gen Z, and they're just like relentlessly perky, you know? Relentlessly like, hi, what can I get started for you? It's a Starbucks. You know, I want to get some coffee. No. What can I get started for you? All right, how about this? Divorce proceedings, all right? I'm trapped in a love. Get that started at all? No? Yeah? Okay. How about radiation treatments? I got a prostate. No? Then I'll just take the latte then, Logan. They got Logan. Come on, what the fuck kind of a Logan? And Logan's supervisor's named Heather. Neither one of them is. There's another guy that works there at every one I've been to in the Denver area. Anyway, it's the 60-year-old barista. He's probably the shift leader. You know what I'm talking about? He's got a tattoo on his face of a face. More piercings. I've seen less shrapnel on posthumous Medal of Honor victims, man. And everything is, I mean, you walk by him, and he magnetizes your watch. And he's like, everything about him is like, says loser. And then when the other people on the shift, the young people on the shift leave, he says, make good choices. Well, you're a 60-year-old barista. What the fuck do you know about a good choice? Hey, you guys gonna have sex? Better make it unprotected. I don't want to see you using condoms out there. Come on, roll the dice. We're in a pandemic. They'll probably have a cure by the time you get sick. Come on. I'm just saying, there's always that guy. He's also got one more, like a new tattoo, a skull with a cobra coming out of one of the eye holes on the skull, puking poison on a baby Jesus wrapped in barbed wire. Choices. Yeah, that was a great choice, by the way. Sorry, I got a little hot with you. I apologize. So no, Chuck, I don't have any comedy material tonight. I have a couple of things that were on my mind. They were preying on me. I was trying to get it by with just, you know, introducing people, making a stupid joke about flat.
Gang, Monday
night. Me back in.
Monday nights at 8 p.m. Mike hosts the Open Mic Comedy Show, where folks get to try new material. New comedians from around the world get to perform. It is super fun. It's where we met many of the comedians you'll see here tonight. So
absolutely.
Check out Mike's show Monday nights. We broadcast on YouTube at Colorado Comedy Show, so you can watch there. Next week's episode is Lifestyles of the Virtually Jolly. We're going to find out why Santa makes that face. And if you're having trouble with your New Year's resolution, we have a New Year's resolution virtual helpline, which it's always been your New Year's resolution, Mike, is one you've always wanted to achieve. That
yes, that's true.
Offer a virtual helpline. So
yeah, I actually was going to do this show last year, but I promised myself I would, but I never got around to it.
Right. So this year, December 27th, almost the last day of the year, we're helping Mike achieve this year's resolution. And of course, if you need a New Year's resolution, possibly it's for our New Year's Eve virtual comedy show, December 31st at 7 p.m., which is midnight, absolutely nowhere except like Greenland.
Someplace in Newfoundland, or is it Greenland?
I believe Greenland and also Buenos Aires. Want to make sure.
Speaking of Greenland, you know who owns Greenland? Denmark. What the hell?
Right.
How did it get to be Denmark? It's 1,000 miles away from Denmark.
Right. Mike.
It was funny. Just
I've caught a little clerical error here from the guys in graphics. I think they have the wrong names up in our VIP. Thank you. So I'm going to do what I can to address that. But I have the names right here.
Why I don't go down there, Chuck.
So we want to that should really read the name. This is terrible. We want to thank Michelle Orr, one of our VIPs, as well as Izzy, our VIP. We got you this gift right away. We got you some wine, just to get you drunk a little bit, so anytime during the holidays you need a break, you've got these 2 glasses of wine to just virtually pound. So that's your first prize, Izzy and Michelle. So we also got you this, a really cool sweater and a gift inside. We're not sure what the gift inside is, but that's virtually up to you. It could be anything.
Like a block of smoked cheddar from here.
Right. Enjoy that hot cheddar. And Chef Scapone also sent some milk and cookies. So these are fresh baked shortbread cookies, along with, I believe that's eggnog. So enjoy that, fresh. And I wanted you to have a snow fort. We try to get you some version of housing. And this week, with winter coming, I want you to be very prepared in case there are snowball fights. Michelle and Izzy, you get this really cool VIP snow fort. So I hope you enjoy your free gigs, your free gifts, and we appreciate you for being VIPs here at the ApocaLips. And for those of you in general admission, while those gifts may have been dazzling, I hope you didn't keep your eyes open. You weren't allowed to enjoy those. Those were just the VIPs. And you have this snow fort, general admission folks. I got you this.
Comes with its own dreamer.
Yeah. So feel free to enjoy this. I'm not sure what's the yellow snow on the right side or left side of your screen, but just avoid that spot. And Chef Scapone also got you. I thought this was a little ridiculous. Just 2 tiny little cookies for a meal. How are you going to stay full on that? So,
I think there's a way.
Thanks. Every week, Mike. Every week.
You know what goes great with Christmas cookies, don't you?
Salad. Who doesn't love salad?
Thousand Island on it.
Right. It's like that time we went to Paula Dean's restaurant for the virtual holiday party. Gosh.
You didn't go.
Yes. Salad and cookies was the entire menu. It was really strange. Mike, we've been giggling and laughing, and I love to hear her laugh every week. Because A, it's a wonderful laugh, and B, our weekly guest is Stacey Sanders from Elevating Connections, who by day works in the foster care system with youth in need, and that's probably just hours of just joy and happiness, like all day, every day. It sucks, is what I know. There's got to be some hard times. So every Sunday we get to make you laugh. That makes us feel better, and we get to learn a little bit more about your charity week in and week out. And we think you do great things So 10% of ticket sales help support Elevating Connections, and here's why. Stacy, can you tell us about your charity and the impact things like today's donations have?
Absolutely. Thank you, Chuck. And I have to say that I enjoy laughing every week. My job is difficult, but y'all make me laugh every week, and I do appreciate that. So thank you.
You're welcome.
So like I said at the top of the show, I am the executive director and founder of Elevating Connections, and we reunite siblings separated in foster care because that's a thing. Kids get abused and neglected in their homes, and then for a variety of reasons, they're separated from one another, further traumatizing them from everything they've just experienced. And then we also work with older youth who've emancipated out of foster care without finding a permanent connection. And I shared numbers last week, but in the first 9 months of this year, we've had 318 kids emancipate out of the foster care system in some form or fashion without finding a permanent home. And so I view what we do at Elevating Connections as solution to some of these problems and trying to help enhance the lives of the kids that we serve. So Chuck likes numbers, so I'm going to throw out some numbers. I'm going to put my glasses back on to do that. So 6, that's the number of years as of January 31st, 2021. That's how old we will be. So we incorporated 6 years ago. And in that time, we've served over 200 siblings through our summer camp and other programming year round. We helped pass one sibling bill that helps give siblings the right to see each other. You'd think that would have been right, but we had to have a law to make that happen. We have helped 75 older youth connect with their community through song, spoken word, through our poetry jam, through comedy, and connect with their community, connect with us. And in this year's been special because of the pandemic. So this time of this year, if you can imagine, it's even harder for siblings to connect because of the pandemic. And I don't know about all of you, but I have been struggling not being able to see my family the way I normally do. And so that's going to get better. There's a vaccine coming. That's going to get better. For the kids I serve, they don't know that that's going to help. So we offer summer camp for connecting events throughout the year. And for the older youth this year, because of the pandemic, we got funding to do, we provided 60 emergency food gift cards so that older kids living on their own could have groceries. Through the help of Colorado Comedy Shows, we provided phone service. So we reconnected phone bills for kids so they could use their hotspots, because without that, they had no connection to the internet, which means they couldn't connect to us. And then I have 2 more numbers for you. The big one is over $6,000, probably closer to $6,500, maybe getting closer to $7,000, is what Colorado Comedy Shows has helped us raise this year. So in between, Chuck helped us produce our poetry jam in June, which was our highest grossing one of the 3 that we've had. We've gotten donations from corporate events, from these events, and exposure that have helped quite a bit. So what that does is help us provide more workshops and connection and more opportunities for everybody to get together. So the end of the year is here, and everybody, I don't know about your inboxes, but mine inundated with people wanting money. I am no different. So here's what we're doing at the end of the year. It's been tough this year. And so we're trying to increase our recurring donors, folks who give us money on a monthly basis. So I have steady income every single month. $10 a month from our community will go a long way all year long to help us provide different kinds of programming, backpacks for camp, tablets, all sorts of things. So if you've got a spare $10 a month, I would love for it to come to us, because the kids I serve deserve a lot more than they get, and I want to be able to do more for them throughout the year. So thank you very much for your time.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate you. We'll put the website up, elevatingconnections.org. Sometimes the folks on the YouTube find that really handy to go learn more about Stacy's work. And we found that some people even donate that way. And I think that's really good.
Yeah.
Stacy, we appreciate it. Folks, why is this important to me? I teach at Community College of Denver in the comedy class. If there's one thing I've learned as a teacher, is that when students say they're from the foster care system, then on comes material that is heartfelt but heartbreaking. You know, when we did the workshop this summer at Stacy's camp, one of the young people who said, could they write material about being abused? Well, yes, you can. It's not going to make me feel great. Sure, it might even get laughs, but it lets that young person speak, talk. And what Stacy does is really focuses a lot of attention on these youth. And we knew once this pandemic hit, nobody's paying attention to them except for Stacy. So I'm so glad that you let us take time to talk about her terrific work, and you know, that it does have impact. Speaking of impact, on Saturdays at 5 p.m. we drink beer at Dear Comics at the bar. It's on Instagram at Dear Comics. Steve Young, who often you know, is the host, can't be here tonight. That's me, guy on the left. Imagery, which one of the first comments on the show was like, guy on the left seems intoxicated. Yeah, I am. And Mike, I caught your note and was unable to respond. Was there something?
I just wanted to, you know, let people know that he doesn't always wear his mask over his eyes like that. And he's a very funny man. Chuck's a very funny man, and a lot of times I give him trouble on the show, but he's really, I love how funny he is. Not a lot of big guys can look good in a sport coat, but he manages to bring that out.
Thank you.
I think you guys are going to love him because he's going to do a little of his stand-up for you. I was not able to rise to the occasion because I just couldn't come up with any material. But Chuck is funny, and he's going to make you guys laugh.
Wow. Thank you, Mike. And you were funny. Look, it's that time of year where holiday presents are showing up at my house, which is embarrassing. I did everything I could this year to not have that happen. My mother sent the annual email in August about, hey, it would help if you could send a few items to put on your Christmas list. And this year I responded, you know, Mom, I haven't received a Sears Wish Book catalog at my house in 20 years. How am I going to make a Christmas list? Now, I hear laughter, and I can see some of you. I can't see others of you. I know Ritu is a young person who might need some explanation. The millennials, a little unaware of what the Sears Wish Book catalog might be. I'll try to explain. The catalog came in the mail. Shit. Already come up with something I've got to explain. The mail is a job that we give to alcoholics. We had them in an army Jeep. We put them on the wrong side of the Jeep, but the right side of the road, and then load them up with booze and packages and point them down the road. And we're like, hey, just match the numbers to the box. And throughout that system invented by Ben Franklin, I think those are exact instructions. We get a mail system, and as a youth, the mail would deliver the Sears Wish Book catalog, which was sort of like a book, more like an app. Imagine like an e-book, but more, this was like a real book with the actual pages you had to turn. You know, that's why the bear is so big and strong. Lift the heavy pages and turn them back and forth. And you would also do things like imagine, and dream. You would, because the back of the Sears Wish Book catalog was loaded with every toy imaginable, and that's how you made your list. You had to get a piece of paper out, use rulers to make a line, some sort of chart system, and then you put the page number, catalog number, price, and item name of what you wanted. No spelling errors, because if you spell something wrong, Santa doesn't get that for you. And thing, there was a year Star Wars came out. I don't know if you remember, like my generation had Star Wars, the good ones. Your generation had the Jar Jar Binks and the whole like, hey, I'm just, clearly a marketing ploy. We had the ones with the Millennium Falcon, and there's no Google, and Millennium Falcon is an impossible word to spell. And I knew I wanted a Millennium Falcon, and I knew that was going to be like only the Sears Wish Book catalog would be able to. And as it got delivered, I was amazed. Like it gets delivered right there on the cover is the entire Star Wars collection of toys. It says, if you want any of these, turn to page 163, and what was impressive is that our Sears Wish Book was redacted. I don't know how my dad figured out how to do this, but there are little black lines through the catalog number and price of key things. Like the G.I. Joe battleship, that was apparently top secret in my family. You have to have classified rankings or a job to get one of those. And I merely had a paper route. I turned to page 163 because I want to spell Millennium Falcon correctly. And there, on top of all the Star Wars toys, my dad had put an application for a paper route. Like, you want that toy, you can get a job or some shit. Now, right now, I've been putting together my holiday cards. I don't know if any of you send holiday cards. There was an incident in my life. I lived in Hollywood in the 90s and came home one day and looked at the lemon tree in my yard and said, we're going to turn these into ornaments. And I'm going to box them up and ship them off to friends and family. Let's just say, folks, it was Hollywood. I did a lot of drugs. What do you want me to do? I was touring, playing comedy clubs, and having a ball. And I cursed during my act, so no corporate gigs. Therefore, December, lots of free time. So lots of parties, lots of drugs, lots of hippies, and we just paint the little lemons, and friends got crafty. They robbed my house of anything. It made little Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer ornaments, and here's one with angel wings. Oh, we were high. It was fun. And it took 2 weeks. We just assembled them all, and then I shipped and packed them, and then got on a plane to go be with my family for the rest of the holiday. And before I got on the plane, I stopped by my neighbor's bar. Before I went to his bar, I'd gone up to his apartment and put one of the little boxes in front. And I thought I'd stop by his bar and go, hey, like just warn you, I left a little package in front of your door. Don't freak out or anything like that. And he goes, and I tell him all about it. I said, I took the lemons from the yard and I turned them into ornaments, and they're gorgeous. And I've shipped them all off to every friend I got. And you know how that works. Like you at the holidays, you got to make decisions. Who am I getting a present for? Who gets a card? And who's no longer on the list? Right? Like, you get a present, you get a card, and fuck you, we're no longer friends. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. So after having shipped everything, I tell my neighbor all about it. He puts a shot of tequila in front of me, and I go, I'm on my way to see my family, going to get on a plane. I don't want to be tossed. When I get there, he's like, Chuck, do the shot. And I go, come on, it's my family. I'm trying to not show up like a rock star. And he's like, you're going to want to do the shot, Chuck. And he goes, Chuck, that's lime trees in our yard. And lime trees turn yellow when they rot. So I took the shot because that year I sent every one of my best friends rotten for Christmas. People opened up the packages and there's paint chips and craft shit at the bottom with a little rolled up lime, just like on, moldy. And that year, if I sent you a Christmas present, we're no longer friends. I only sent you a Christmas card, then we've elevated up to best friends. And if I didn't send you that, then, you know, at least we're buddies now. So that's my life lessons for the holidays, folks. I hope please get yourself a Sears Wish Book catalog and don't send rotten fruit for Christmas. So thank you very much for that.
Words to live by, Chuck.
I'm going to try and put
You know,
that
we
on.
don't say it often enough on this show. You don't just laugh at the apocalypse.
Darn. And Mike, we have one super fun act to close out the show. A fine guy that we met through your show, and we've invited here to the apocalypse, and folks really enjoyed him. So I said, why don't you come back and we'll do some jokes at the holidays. So ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome Yale Hollander to the
Hey, thank you so much, Chuck. It's good to be here. I appreciate it. Here's kind of my take on the whole Sears, my experience on the whole Sears Wish Book catalog. And this is when my parents knew that I was going to be a bit of a problem. My wish list was basically all of the lingerie and bra models from pages 26 through 29. So you could keep the Millennium Falcon. I was after Crystal and Phyllis and all the other ladies in the front of the book. Yeah, I guess there were toys there too, but that just wasn't my thing for some reason. But no, thank you so much for having me here tonight. Not only do I enjoy hanging out with all of you and doing this show and doing Mike's show on Monday nights, but it also saves me from another evening of having to watch shitty television with my wife. I'd be upstairs right now in the family room watching some horrific made-for-TV movie on the Lifetime network. I don't know how many of you are familiar with these Lifetime movies, but they are, you know, just one catastrophe after another. One, you know, failed human being on top of another failed human being on top of a preposterous scenario. She was watching one the other night and she said, and this was a little disturbing to me. She says, "Oh, I think you'll really like this one. This is about some psychopath who's going around kidnapping orphans." And, you know, aside from being very worried about what she really thinks of me, I was also very concerned about her use of verbs because I don't think you can technically kidnap an orphan. I mean, that's kind of adoption, if you ask me. I mean, these kids for the first time in their life are feeling wanted. You know, they're winners. I mean, those kids are riding an emotional high that is probably going to carry them through the remaining 10 to 15 minutes of their lives before they end up in a ditch somewhere. But if it's not that, then she's watching this show called The Property Brothers. It's two brothers, and I think they're twins, and one of them is in real estate. One of them is like a realtor, and then the other one is a contractor. And I pointed this fact out to my wife, and I said, wow, you mean to tell me that one of them is a contractor and the other one is a real estate agent, and their last name is Property? Isn't that the most ironic thing you've ever heard of?
Yeah.
She looks at me and she says, "You dumb fuck." That's not irony, that's coincidence. So there you have it. She also watches Dr. Phil, or as I prefer to call him, Mr. Phil, or sometimes just Phil, depending on the depth of my disrespect for the person. I mean, okay, technically he's a doctor. He has a PhD. He has a PhD in clinical psychology. He wrote his doctoral thesis on the psychological dimensions of rheumatoid arthritis. Okay, so really, as far as I'm concerned, the only family problem that Dr. Phil is qualified to handle would be the screaming fits that grandma has every time she tries to pick up a cast iron skillet with her bad wrist. Okay, that's it. I mean, believe it or not, and if you haven't already, I'm sure you will believe it. You know, comedy is not my principal occupation. I'm a lawyer. I have a doctorate of jurisprudence. Okay, so technically, I could call myself a doctor too. The only thing is that I am qualified to fix your traffic ticket. I am not qualified to fix your fucked up family. Okay, so that's why I don't call myself Dr. Yale. I am, of course, grateful to be here on these Zoom shows. I love doing these Zoom shows. I do kind of miss doing the in-person live comedy thing, but I tell you one thing that I don't miss is the sense of unpredictability that is audience dynamics. Okay, when I first started doing comedy, I was surprised one night by my aunt and uncle, who were at the time were 98 years old. They showed up at an open mic that I was going to be performing on. Now, I was like 17th or 18th on the list that night for the open mic. And I just knew that sometime before I got on, there was going to be an uncomfortable situation between them and the comics. I mean, here's these two old people sitting in the front row. I mean, must have looked, to everybody else like, a couple of shriveled up Jewish baked apples sitting in the front row. My uncle is wearing a suit that probably hadn't seen the light of day since Eisenhower's first inauguration. And, my aunt, wearing an old gold lame dress that, was probably worn to the Academy Awards, back in the 30s or something like that. She looked like a little Jewish disco ball sitting in the front row. And I just knew that at some point, by the time I got up there was going to be an uncomfortable confrontation. And sure enough, it was the first comic that came out. First of all, he startled at anybody sitting in the front row, because if you've ever been to an open mic, you sit as far away from the stage as possible. And he gets down on their eye level, which, God bless him, he must have a great back. But he gets down on their eye level and he says, "You all motherfuckers like eating ass." I was stunned. I was actually quite appalled, and a little bit embarrassed that they both said yes at the same time. So that was an uncomfortable situation. So yeah, Rudy Giuliani. I mean, let's talk about him. He's having a hell of a week. Apparently, he has COVID. Surprise, surprise. Who could have guessed that? How in the world could that have happened? I know all those people are just being so careful. But he was presenting testimony at a meeting of a subcommittee of the Michigan State Senate earlier this week, and during one of the more emphatic points that he was making, he farted. All I can say is that the man is committed to the job. I mean, when he gaslights, he really gaslights. Okay? And then he puts on this drunk lady, this Melissa Carone, and I'm trying to figure out why in the hell he would put this woman up to give testimony on her role working with as a temp in one of the voting machine companies. And then we started looking into her background a little bit. This was a woman who was registered with a very sketchy talent agency as an aspiring actress. It also turns out that she had just come off of criminal probation for illegal use of a computer and obscenity charges. It turns out that she was emailing her fiance's ex-wife pornographic videos of her doing the sex thing with her fiance and sending them to this guy's ex-wife. So the only thing that I can think of is that Rudy figured out that this was going to be a win-win situation for him. That he was either going to get her to drop some bombshell testimony that was going to blow open the Michigan part of the presidential election, or things weren't going to go so well and she would be up for going back to his hotel room to help him tuck in his shirt. I don't know. And I say good for him, because she's at least twice the age of the last gal that he thought that he was taken back to a hotel room to do that kind of stuff. Yeah. But I'm here in St. Louis, and the political climate is no better here. I mean, our governor is a certified frontier imbecile. He had COVID and still won't impose a mask mandate. That's how stupid this guy is. Okay. I wake up every morning fully expecting to turn on the news and see that he has cleaned out the state treasury and traded it for a sack of magic beans. That's how dumb this guy is. It's embarrassing. But the people who elected him, and I'm embarrassed to admit, re-elected him last month, are no smarter. There is actually a group of concerned Missouri citizens who are boycotting Chinese restaurants because they are afraid they are going to catch COVID because the Chinese are carrying the virus. Okay. First of all, these people have never been in the kitchen of a Chinese restaurant, because if they did, there is a better chance of them learning Spanish than there is of them catching the virus from a Chinese person. Okay. That's the first part. The second part is, who in the hell thinks that you can catch a disease from a culture? I mean, culture doesn't carry it. I mean, if you use that principle, if you use that transitive property there, every time a Gentile man bit into a bagel, his foreskin would fall off. Okay? It just doesn't work that way. All right. And while we're on the topic of bagels, which we kind of were, I just have a strong belief that the bagel was invented by a guy who was looking for a dinner roll that he could fuck. Maybe that's me. I tell you, if that theory holds true, I feel really bad for the wife of the guy who invented the butt cake, because that is a particularly dirty dessert. All right. Well, if there's one good thing that has come out of the year 2020, it's that I was notified that I was eligible for an upgrade to my cell phone. Please hold your applause. I know it's great. So I go to the mall to have that done. And quite honestly, I consider that to be a heroic feat, not because I went to a large public place, enclosed place, during the times of COVID, but the last time I went to the mall, I endured a very traumatic experience. I went to a department store to do a little bit of shopping, and there was a sign right as I walked in at the entrance of the department store that said, "Fat guys are currently not welcome here." I'm paraphrasing that a little bit. What it actually said was, "Escalator to men's department broken." But I mean, it's really kind of six of one, half dozen the other. So I go to the phone store at the mall, and the guy greets me at the entrance, and he says, "Let me know what your cell phone number is, and I'll look up your account." So I give him my cell phone number. He looks up the account. He says, "Oh yes, you are most definitely entitled to an upgrade. We'll get you all hooked up with that. It's going to be about 40 minutes because we've got some people in front of you." I'm like, "Yeah, that's fine. I'm just going to head out and do some other things in the mall, and you just text me or give me a buzz on the phone when it's my turn, and I'll come right back." And he says, and I quote, "I have no way of doing that." The guy to whom I had just given my cell phone number, who was in a store with 147 telephones, has no way of doing that. But I decided, you know what? I'm a risk taker. I'm gonna go out in the mall, and I can just look at my phone and see when it's been 40 minutes. So I get out. I'm maybe 5 minutes outside of the phone store. I've been gone for maybe 5 minutes. I go down to the food court, get myself an ice cream cone, because that's what ballers who are entitled to cell phone upgrades do in their spare time. I get maybe 2 bites into that ice cream, and you can guess what happened. I shit my pants. And this is how I discovered that I am lactose intolerant. Okay, that's going to do it for me. That's my time. Thank you all so much.
Yale Hollander.
Yeah.
Woo!
Fun, very fun. What a surprise at the end. I didn't see that coming. I guess you didn't.
How do you think I felt?
Right. Gang, we've had a lot of fun entertaining you with the Holiday Comedy Show. Would you please give a nice round of applause for Ritu, Yale, and Ed, aka Bronco Brad?
Woo-hoo. Woo!
Yeah.
Is fun on the way, gang. We want to make sure we say thanks to Elevating Connections and their fine work, and to you all. We want to make sure we say thank you. And Izzy, Favela, thank you. The gang and graphics, it felt very bad that they screwed up the earlier portion. Michelle, thank you for joining us today. We got you just one extra piece of comedy gold. Away. So just hope that makes up for the little mistake there, and hope you enjoy your comedy gold and opera price.
You know what, Chuck?
Mike wouldn't be comedy gold if there wasn't salad with it.
Yeah, gold flakes of salad.
Right. That always wins you shit on those baking shows if you use gold leaf. So I assume he's gold leaf encrusting some of the iceberg lettuce. So play that, everybody. We'll take you through to the exits. If you're new to our show, just know that we walk you out, and then in just a moment we'll do one more sing along. Mike has to lead us in a sing along. He doesn't know the words or the tune. Neither do you. So we'll all just sing along. We'll get you through the neighborhood. Really hope they pass that PPP, Paycheck Protection Program, because the neighborhood has gone downhill. So be careful out there. There's all kinds of, folks ready to greet you, meet you, eat you, or let you eat them, whatever you want to pay for. Oh, excuse me, folks, but my ride's here. So time for me to go. And what do we know, Mike? When we see the guy in gold, it's time to say goodbye.
Not time to finish the show until the man in gold leaf.
Right. And folks on YouTube, you know what? You didn't buy a ticket, so you don't get to hang out for the sing-along like all the